y'all ready to head off the trails? I'm Jessica Jones, the Cryptid Huntress, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel. If you guys haven't hit subscribe, please do. We would love to have you guys. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that awesome intro music. I really appreciate it. It just sets the tone for the show. Okay, you guys, please follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. All right, you guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. And please subscribe to my amazing YouTube channel. It's the Cryptid Huntress over on YouTube, where I have a weekly daytime show every Wednesday at 1 p.m. and then a nighttime show every Thursday at 8 p.m. Where I do a lot of really cool remote viewing targets. And if you guys would like to support what I'm doing over there with those targets and all those shows, you can join my Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. And also, I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. It's over there on Etsy. And it really helps out everything that I'm doing these days. If you guys go support my shop. Okay, well, I have a fantastic guest here at Spaced Out Radio tonight. I have Nick Valente in the studio. And don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a fantastic show set up for us today. So let's go and get to our guest tonight. All right, Nick Valente is a Fortean researcher, paranormal investigator, and boots-on-the-ground cryptid researcher. He's the head of the International Dogman Project, the IDP. All right, the goal of the IDP is to gather as much information about the creature phenomenon known as the Dogman. It's done through online research, book research, interviews of people who've had encounters, and boots-on-the-ground field investigations. They open up cold cases and they go investigate brand new ones. Okay, so Nick is a wealth of knowledge. Not only does he investigate Dogman, but he goes all over the place looking for all the different cryptids. And I'd say he's an expert. I know nobody's a real expert, but I think Nick's about as close as they get. So please help me welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight, Mr. Nick Valente. Hey, Nick.
Hi, Jess. How are you doing here?
Hey, I'm excellent. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is going to be
you're
fun
welcome.
Show.
Yeah, I wouldn't say expert, but I would say pretty darn well informed, because I do a heck of a lot of reading on all the cryptids and the paranormal, UFOs, and including zoology, which I'm trying to get a master's degree in, because like I always say, you got to know what real animals look like before you can say, hey, that's a cryptid. So always reading something. Thank God my eyes are still with me, and I could read. But I am going to these readers sometimes, though.
Oh, I need some of those too.
Oh man,
I was noticing. I took my contacts out today, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm blinded." Oh my!
Watch
gosh.
it though; these things multiply. Once you buy one, I must have about 40 pair of these. Oh, they're all over the place. In the car, in my pockets, here, there, everywhere.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, it happens. It'll happen to me one day. I am 100% positive. And speaking of crazy cryptids, I have been seeing so many new animal species that we've never seen before on this planet. I guess it's online, like turtles that have like octopus legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with all that, Nick? Do you have an explanation?
I kind of think that besides some sort of a mutation, they're probably getting some sort of chemical spilled in their natural habitat.
Yes.
Just like down in South Jersey, the Pine Barrens, the home of the Jersey Devil, which, by the way, I understand you remote viewed.
Yes.
I kind of think that it's possible. However, I believe that I had found an individual there who showed me a corpse of I'll tell your SOR family right now.
Yeah.
I identified it as a horse bat. It was a little over 3 feet long. The guy had it in the freezer. It looks just like the description of a Jersey Devil. However, maybe it's not the real Jersey Devil. They used the Pine Barrens for so long to dump chemicals in that, they found not one and not 2 or 3, but a lot of snakes down there with 2 heads. You're going to find mutations here and there, but over the last 3 years, they found, just under a dozen snakes with double heads. It's like, what the
Wow.
heck? What's going on here?
That's a great explanation, though, with those chemical spills, and we're having those all over the world right now.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. Wow. And I was just watching a Monster Quest program down in Tasmania, which is, by the way, lower portion. It's actually an island off about 130 miles off of Australia, Tasmania, the Thylacine. And they're actually trying to build the DNA links to create a new thylacine and, have one created for real, Jurassic Park type thing.
Wow. Well, you and I have talked recently on my channel at the Cryptid Huntress about the Appalachian monsters, and there have been modern day dinosaur sightings all along the Appalachian Mountains.
That's true. I mean, I've even gotten reports. I mean, I get, a couple thousand reports every year on all the different cryptids. And I've gotten several reports on the Thunderbirds, down out in Arizona and southwestern Texas. So yeah, definitely. That's a dinosaur, and they're quite huge.
Yeah, it's a flying reptile. I've looked into those too. Now, speaking of flying, you said that what you found was a horse bat. Okay, for the New Jersey Devil.
Yeah,
I actually was asked to remote view this. I was given that target to remote view, and what I was seeing looked like a bat. For the Jersey Devil, it looked like what they call a hammerhead bat.
Right.
There were two different targets that I did, because I kept coming up with this the data was all over the place, and I couldn't figure out what I was looking at. And the first one that I did was an overall target of the Jersey Devil, and my data was suggesting that it looked like a bat, a large bat, basically.
Right.
And so the thing that I compared it to was a hammerhead bat. Okay, and those things are gigantic. They're out of Africa.
Right.
The first sighting of one of those was in the 1700s by Napoleon Bonaparte's brother. Okay.
That's correct, because he had exotic animals on his land. And, back then, the people that came over from Europe, they would have shipped, they were so filthy rich, they would have shipped over castles that they had put together here in the United States. They would ship over different exotic animals. Tigers are not indigenous to the United States, yet, they have them. They have them here in the United States way before we actually had them in zoos. So
Wow.
Hammerhead bat, the horsehead bat, and the cow bat. They're all basically in the same species, same type of genus, and they do look together. They're cousins. So I wish I had that picture. I don't have it down here with me, but I have a picture of one where a man is holding it by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah,
And you can compare it to the man, and you can see that this thing is about a good, I would say, anywhere from 36 to maybe 40 inches from top to bottom. So that's a big bat. And if people are seeing one of these flying around, what are they going to think?
Okay.
Absolutely. What are they going to think?
Well, okay, so the first target that I did when it was looking kind of like a bat, because it had bat wings, we were actually, my co-host or my guest that came on that night, Donnie Cho, he was suggesting that maybe it was a pterosaur that those people were seeing, because the description sounded more like a pterosaur than anything. So, do you think that could have been a mix-up back then?
I kind of don't think it was a pterosaur, even if they did have one over there, because the body and the legs were kind of bat-like, kind of spindly.
Okay.
And the wings were they were bat-like. And yeah. I was investigating it, even though I do go down to the Pine Barrens every now and then again, because it's an interesting place. But I was investigating that for over 6 years with a full team. We'd be out there for days at a time. And a lot of the stories I picked up out there is that way back when in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, people were seeing the this bat-like creature with legs, and it not only was in South New Jersey, but it went over into Pennsylvania for a whole month. It was actually terrorizing different towns. and people would report their sightings. And it was funny because this one man, he was hired to hunt it down. I guess he was a hunter, a big game hunter actually, and he was hired to hunt it down, and he tracked it up until a fence, and then it disappeared, and evidently it flew away.
So it had to flown, huh?
Yeah, evidently it had wings and it flew away.
Wow.
Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, the nuclear power plants that are leaking out with the tsunamis and the earthquakes and all that stuff. That would be a total explanation as to why we're having all these strange cryptid hybrid animals that are mutated and things like that. I mean, it could even explain how we have mutated cryptids, like mutant Sasquatch.
Yeah. I mean, just like steroids will make a skinny guy, if he works out and eats a lot, muscular. It's possible that instead of what nuclear waste would do to us, it would deteriorate us. It's possible that maybe in some type of animal and reptile forms that it would mutate them. And it's also possible that maybe they would die, maybe 5-6 months later, but maybe they gave birth to something and the radiation didn't actually kill that, and, so on and so forth until something grew into, monster-like proportions. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible. I mean, with DNA, the way they're recombining that these days, they're growing animals, from test tubes. So who knows? Maybe this is another possibility here. Yeah. But I believe they did clean up that waste from back then, and it's not running out anymore, but it already did its damage.
Right.
Yeah, because that tsunami, I mean, I watched it. People had filmed it. People, if you want to see something horrifying, watch the tsunami. The tsunami that hit Japan, many, 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 many years ago. It is horrifying what it can do.
Wow. Yeah, lots of natural disasters, lots of man-made disasters right now. And if I've seen anything, I don't watch the news at all anymore, Nick. I just can't. It's too depressing.
I tried to watch the news yesterday. In 3 counties, Cocomic, one of them in New York, the trains were coming to a stop, and the sparks that were flying off set fires in 3 different counties. And I'm talking about some terrible fires. And it was so dry out yesterday. We had a warning here in New Jersey telling us that possible, wildfires out there. So it's like, my God, it's there's a disaster right there. 3 different counties in New York.
Oh my God. That's terrible. Well, it's the chemicals that are getting me, with all these the food plants burning and the livestock. And it's like, what is going on? And that's a topic for another show one day.
Oh, really?
Not on Space Out Radio, probably. Right. But yeah, there is a lot of mutated cryptids. There's a lot of mutated animals right now. So We'll see what our future holds after all this destruction.
Real quick, I got to show off my T-shirt to everybody. Let me see. Here we go.
Nice, very nice. The National Cryptid. What does the bottom say?
We also have an alien.
Oh, you got to have all of this.
Society.
National
you got the alien,
Society.
Bigfoot. You got Dogman and Mothman, and they used to be
perfect.
This agency used to be there back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and those were the golden eras when they used to actually get money from corporations and the government to go try to find the Yeti and the Loch Ness Monster and other cryptids.
Yeah. Wow. Well, speaking of cryptids, we can't have our show tonight without mentioning the conference that's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You're a big part of. I'm actually going to be a part of it. Tell the audience about the Dogman conference that we got coming up.
Well, it's the Dogman Cryptid Conference. We had one last year in Paris, Tennessee. It was an overwhelming success, more than Josh Turner, who put it on. And I said last year, I said, nobody but Josh Turner could have done this. Absolutely not. Because, I mean, he spent his own money, tons of his own time, which he doesn't have a lot of. And he did the Dogman Cryptid Conference in Paris, Tennessee. This year, he's having the conference in Fort Worth, Texas. And it's they're advertising September 2nd and 3rd, but it's actually the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The September 1st is a VIP day. That's where you get, if you buy VIP tickets, it's a little bit more money, but when you look at it, they're giving you food, and it's excellent food. There it is. There we go. And we're over there on the right side. Yep, I'm just above you there. Anyway, for VIP night, you get to meet all of the guests in person. You get a dinner, really good dinner, super good dinner. I mean, I was enjoying it like crazy. The barbecue brisket that they had there was just out of this world. He got these people that came up from Texas to do it. You get a swag bag, full of all kinds of things. You get patches, hats, shirts, books, you name it. Yeah. Josh put all this stuff together. He wanted to make sure that the VIPs, who came there, were getting their money's worth. I think they way far and beyond got their money's worth.
It'll be the same this year, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, and actually this year he's got twice the amount of people from the cryptozoology people, out there, well-known folks, yourself included. But anyway, that's September 1st is VIP night. And then you have regular tickets on the 2nd and on the 3rd. And that's where, all of us will go up there and we'll get our chance to talk and, give our take on the different cryptids and answer questions and all that. We got a bunch of authors going. D.A. Roberts, Barton Nunley, Ken Gerhardt. I got, what's Nikki's last name? Nick Redfern. Sorry, Nick. Yeah. Having first similar, names, I can't remember you sometimes, but Nick Redfern, the man is a machine. He writes on everything. He's unbelievable. I mean, just to name a few.
Here.
And
we'll put the thing back up. Let's see.
Okay, there we go. Yep.
We got
Ken, David Weatherly. I mean, he's got books out there. Like I said, D.A. Roberts. He's got a ton of books out there. There's Nikki. Yep.
We've got Lyle Blackburn. We've got Ron. I talked to Ron Murphy last night. He's going to be there speaking.
Ron's going to be there? Okay.
Yeah, Ron will be there.
All right. Well, yeah, Lyle Blackburn's going to be there. There's Ken. But Adam Davies. I'm going to tell you, these guys, well, Nick and Barton and Ken and let me see, Lyle, they all sold out last year on the first day, because we only had 2 days, actually. And on the first day, they just sold out all their books, and a lot of disappointed people. I got to buy a couple of books. I wanted to get Nunley's Inhumanoid book, and have him sign it while he was there. But next time I see him, I'll just have him sign it. And, they'll sign the books for you, too. I mean, God, it's worth it. Barton Nunley's book, by the way, The Inhumanoids, the original one, the original book, it had a different cover than the one you would get nowadays. That book was worth $3,000. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Oh
it actually sold for $3,000. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, these are the cryptozoologists of today. Back in Sanderson and Fort, from way back when, in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, they were back then, and then it sort of got pushed by the wayside by regular science, and it has made a resurgence in the 80s and 90s and the 2000s now.
Wow. And what better way to get the information about cryptids and things that are actually going on out in this world than from boots on the ground field researchers who put out their stories and put out their biographies, much like the head of one of my teams, Trey Hudson, in his book, The Meadow Project.
Yeah.
We're doing some real research out there. It's cutting edge stuff, and getting some real experiences and putting it on paper to get it out there, and on digital formats as well. Yeah. In audiobooks.
I think the only people that are going to be there without books are you and I.
Right. This way. There we go.
I don't. I think it's that way. There you go. Tickle.
Maybe next year. I'll have a book next year. Maybe we'll see.
I was thinking of maybe just taking off from work for 2 weeks and sitting down and doing it. I mean,
yeah, there's so much to talk about in this cryptid community, and we have so many stories and a lot of experience. I know you've got between you and I, we got a lot of experience, Nick. So,
oh God, I've got a ton of experience, and I'm looking at my desk over here, and I got all my notes here from every time I go out, and I mean, I got more than that. I don't know. I should sit down just for 2 weeks and just do it.
Oh yeah. Hey, I got to tell you, we've got Drewski. I think it's Drewski. I don't know if Zook's in here, but from
Drewski
Warfare are in the chat. They said hello. And,
hey Drew.
Hey Darkwoods and Primal Cry. I mean, everybody that's in the chat today. Hey, shout out to everybody for being here.
Darkwoods, what's going on?
For being here tonight. Yeah, Darkwoods was my guest not too long ago too, and we had some really cool conversations. So. Yeah.
I think I saw Sandra on there before. I should say hello to her. She said hello to us, and just kind of hard to say hello to everybody because it keeps flipping up and down and on my screen here.
There's a lot of comments. Yes.
Are there really? Good.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. Well, at this conference, okay, so we're talking about Bigfoot. It's not just Dogman, right, Nick?
It's going to be Bigfoot. It's going to be Dogman. It's going to be actually, like I said, I handle all the cryptids. If people have any questions on them, I'll give you the answers. You'll be there. Same with you. Yeah. Weatherly, David Weatherly, he writes books on all the different cryptids. So, I mean, if you have questions, he's out there. D.A. Roberts, even though he does fiction, he does real boots on the ground investigating out there to investigate his books. He
does. Let me tell you who else has some information about the Dogman conference. We got Josh Turner here in the house tonight.
JT.
Hey, Josh.
Hey. Josh, what's going on?
Nick, you're the only guy that calls me JT. That's the only person that does that.
Well, Josh, thank you for joining us tonight. We were just talking about the conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm wearing a seatbelt. I'm sitting here in the vehicle. We're at the grocery store. My nephew's picking something up. We just came from eating dinner. I saw what time it was, and I thought I should jump on with you guys.
Absolutely.
The conference is going to be it's going to be a big one, and there's people already, naysaying, oh, it's never been done, but it's not going to work, blah blah blah. Blah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, last year we pulled it off, and we had 483 people there last year. This year we're going to have 600. I think we're going to sell out. The tickets are moving quick. And there's going to be a lot of everybody from last year, plus Ron Moorhead, Sibylla Irwin. We got Chad Lewis and Adam Davies. So not only did we already have like an all-star lineup, but now we have like a superstar lineup because we have
Jessica Jones.
And that's not to mention the new Jessica. Dan Nadrello, he's going to be there. I talked to him. He was on my show last night. We had a heck of a show.
That was a great show.
Okay. Yeah, and okay, want to do that? My wife's helping me here. So we had a heck of a show last night, but I think it's going to be a great conference, and I can't stress enough how excited we at PRT are to be doing it again. When I thought last year would probably be. That was going to be it. And I was telling Lyle on the way back from Tennessee, I was like, I just want to write, the books are coming along. I'm a couple months out of the first one and about 3 months out of the second one. And then I'm going to try to get them published and get some hard copies there to sell at the conference. That's going to be the first place I release them at. I don't even think 2 months for the first one. I think it'll be a month and a half and I'll be ready to go on that one. So we'll see what happens, but we're hoping that you guys come. Nick, you're going to get an early presentation on the first day because we had agreed to that because you got tail end of the stick last time. But I keep telling Nick he needs to write a book. He's got a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, but it's just putting it in book form really does hold something there for posterity.
Josh, I was just telling Jessica, you see all my notes? I got tons of these down here on my desk. Unbelievable. I should just take 2 weeks off from work and write one.
You need to just get it done. And it really is the way to do it, like me, I was a researcher, then a podcaster, and I did good at that, but at least I think I do okay. But writing a book is something I'd never done before, and I had trepidation, and then I was just like, how am I going to do this? So I went to the heavy hitters in this community and asked them, how did you do this? How do you write a book? And I have gotten a bunch of help. I say a lot of help from a bunch of different people. And Barton, Ken, and Lyle, they've been invaluable allies in helping me do that. About a month ago, I was eating dinner with David Weatherly, and he told me, he's like, if you need to write a book, what you got to do is go to somebody who's done it before,
Mm-hmm.
and so many researchers, they don't do that. And they just go in and they jump in and think, well, I know all about this, so I'm just going to write a book. And one person, I'm not going to mention names, but it rhymes with Odie. He goes and writes books, and there's no punctuation. You can't even understand what the heck he's talking about. And I can't choke down that. It's like trying to eat, bok choy or something, with no, can't, yeah. It's like, I mean, kale is okay, but I got to have a little dressing on there. And that's what punctuation and grammar comes into play. And I'm okay with that. But like I said, I have to be able to have a book that's readable and not just some crap that I can take to the conferences and go, hey, look, I wrote a book. That's not how it works. And that's why it's time consuming. And, it's all encompassing. But somebody with your intellect, Nick, and you too, Jessica, I know you guys have a lot to offer the community. And I know that you guys would knock it out of the park if you wrote.
Hey, I'm planning on it. I think Nick is too. We've been talking about it. So it's a matter of finding the time and sitting down and just doing it. So
that's the problem. Yeah. Oh my God.
Time.
Me too. I know nobody has time, right? But people that have the most on their plate are the ones that find the time. So
that's right.
Right.
Get your allies together.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man,
absolutely.
I'm a busy guy. I mean, Ken told me the other day I'm the busiest guy he knows, and Ken's a pretty busy guy. But if you guys, if it's something that you really aspire to do, I'm a doer, not a dreamer, and
right.
I know they say you got to be a dreamer first, but I don't just have dreams. I try to get things done. And that's what I'm doing with this conference. I just want to get it done. I want it to happen, and I want it to be there where the PRT family can go and say, hey, we had this wonderful time. We got to hear all these speakers. That's why I'm actually sitting out speaking this year. So there's more time for other people to speak because, like I said on my show last night, they see my big, dumb, goofy face all the time. They don't need to hear me talking up there. I'll be there to MC and talk to the fans and whatever, but that's not the main purpose is to actually talk about, it's for the people that are coming to speak, to hear them. That's what they're there.
Yeah. Well, I think, Josh, I've already got people sending me messages in my DMs saying that they've already bought their tickets. I mean, you guys just announced it, yesterday? It was yesterday or the day before? And
day
so
and a
people
half.
are already buying their tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventbrite.com.
Yep. Those VIP tickets are going fast, man. I've had people trying to get me to sell them to them in bulk, 6 to 10. And I'm like, I don't want to do that because then other people may not be able to make it. And I don't want, we had that last year where somebody came in there and bought 15 of them. And then when I guess they kind of tried to hold on to them or something. And then whenever it came down to the nitty gritty, they were trying to trade them or they said they were trading them, but I think they were selling them, jacking up the price. And there was a lot of rumors going around.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
And last year was because of the VIP tickets, man. Yeah. It is. And last year, at the end of the conference, and Nick can attest to this, people were accusing me of trying to make a fast buck at the end. I didn't. I was giving away the merchandise.
God, he gave away so much merchandise. It was not funny, people. This is the God's honest truth. And Josh, I don't know if you remember last year, about 3 weeks before the conference, I called you up at night and I asked you to please put out some more VIP tickets. My people were contacting me left and right every day saying, we can't get VIP tickets. I mean, it was a phenomenal time for everybody.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people that were speaking that were asking if I could get extra VIP tickets for their people. And I was feeling bad because I couldn't accommodate everybody. This year we do have more VIP tickets available, but it's because it's a bigger venue. but we have
Yes, yeah.
general admission, and we have like quite a bit of general admission too. So
I
we're
was
hoping
speaking
that
to Ann.
it'll, because last year
Yeah.
Yeah, someone in the chat was asking what part of
Kinda broke
Tennessee
up
the conference will be in, but it's actually in Texas this year.
It's Fort Worth,
Fort
Texas.
Worth, Texas.
Fort
Yeah.
Worth, yeah.
Fort Worth, and some of the biggest names in the cryptid community are going to be there. So everybody go get your tickets. You can get them at Eventbrite, and I think I have the banner here. I think I typed it in. Look up a Paranormal Roundtable at Eventbrite.
Yeah, I think we captured
Josh.
probably the bulk of the biggest names in the cryptid community. I don't really think we left too many out on out there.
Yeah,
there's a few of the old guard there's a few of the old guard that are still, but they're not really doing conferences as much anymore. They're slowing down, and but that's why I thought it was important that we got Ron Moorhead on there, because I really would like to meet him face to face, and that's a big one. Getting him on there, and had some really good conversations with some really big name people lately, but they're all very down to earth people. None of them are trying to gouge on price. Like, hey, my speaker fee, I need a Porsche, nothing like that, nothing crazy, They just want their hotels paid for, and just, they've been very gracious, and everybody's been very kind with me, and that is big to me because when I first came into this business, or what do you want to call it, the community, but so many people make it a business. We were bullied, and messed with by people and taken advantage of. And that first year was hard. The second year was even harder. And as we got bigger, people went after us and picked on us and thought they could, run us off. But we stuck, we stayed the course, and we stuck, by it. And I try to be a person of integrity and bring people, the best work I can possibly do. And that's what I do as a creator. That's what I present. And I think you guys do that too. That's why we're allies. That's why we're friends.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah, Josh, somebody in the chat actually made the suggestion, or I don't know if it was a question or a suggestion, but is there a campground nearby where some people could come and camp out if they don't want to stay at a hotel?
Yeah, I think there is, because Lake Worth is right there. And of course, Lake Worth is known for the Lake Worth monster. We don't really know what it is. My colleague Lyle Blackwood's done a lot of work on it. Some people say it looks like a goat man. Some people say it looks like Bigfoot, Dogman. We're not real sure. We just know it's a big hairy critter that hangs out over there. So, as long as they don't go out there and get eaten, because I'm not responsible for people getting eaten by critters.
Oh God, that's all we need, right? Josh, yeah. I think you're undercutting it about saying 600. I am predicting 900 to 1,000 if you're going to sell the tickets, because I was talking to Ann at the conference center yesterday, and she said that we got 2 rooms that can fit 400 each. So I mean, we're talking about a big venue here, which is really good for the people.
Yeah, and we're thinking that we could probably sell that, but right now, Ken and I and my colleagues, at Paranormal Roundtable, we're thinking that we're just going to try and be conservative with the numbers right now, and we'll maybe get a little more liberal with them once we can swing, selling the max. Then we can look at maybe how we're going to do that. But I'm not gonna try and whatever, shoot for the moon or whatever. I'm just gonna just do what we can and try to accommodate people comfortably, because that's another thing. I don't want people to be feel like they're being pushed in there like cattle, and whatever. And I want the vendors to have their own space, which we didn't have last year. Everybody was in the one big room,
right?
And, people were trying to sell their merchandise, and then people were talking, and it created some issues. When people were up there talking, at one point I had to get up there and tell people to shut up, because
that's hard to hear when you do that. I spoke at a conference last year where the whole room was talking, not the whole room, but the back of the room was, and it was so annoying. I lost my voice trying to talk. So it can be a lot. So I am so looking forward to this, Josh. It is such an honor to be asked to speak at this. So thank you so much for including me this year. It's going to be fun.
Well, I didn't do it out of mercy. I did it because you're good at what you do, and I like what you do.
Well,
I don't take people and go, excited. I take pity on this person. I'll let you go. No, you're definitely a part of it, and you do a good job. And this past year, working with you and just conversating with you has been phenomenal for me. Just getting to know you, and you do good work, and I've really enjoyed our conversations. Both of y'all, you and Nick, both. So you know, you guys coming to the conference is a no-brainer. You know, it wasn't like, you know, I had to go, oh, let me think about who I should, you know, no, you guys is definitely going to be a part of it. What are you guys going to be speaking about? I don't know. I know Nick's going to be talking about the LBL and running away from it like a scaredy cat. Like, what are you going to be talking about, Jessica?
You know, I'm going to talk about a bunch of my research that I've done over the years. The research, and then if you know, if the crowd wants it, I can talk a little bit about some of the remote viewing that I've done too with a lot of this paranormal stuff. I was thinking maybe giving a quick little overview of the history of remote viewing and what it is, so that people can be a little more open to it when it comes down to it. But I really want to talk about cryptids. I mean, that's my thing. So maybe the unconventional approach to paranormal research. How about that? Into the cryptid research. We're going to go there. So we'll see closer to time. I'll figure it out closer to time, but it'll be a good one. Whatever it is, whatever I talk about, it'll be good.
What is your subject y'all are talking about tonight on the show?
Well, we were going to talk about Dogman. We're going to talk about mutant Sasquatch. We were actually talking about mutant Sasquatch and the mutations that are going on with all the animals all over the planet, especially in the United States, from all the chemical spills that we've had lately. Yeah. So potentially, you know, mutated animals and things, because there's a lot of animals that are showing up that are like turtles that have like octopus legs and stuff that I've been seeing
weird
online.
Stuff.
Like a lot of weird
animals,
stuff.
A lot of people call them. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were kind of trying to figure out why that is, and Nick did bring up the fact that we've had a lot of chemical spills and radiation spills from the nuclear plants and things like that. So that's what we're talking about tonight.
So how much time do you got? Are you still on that hour schedule where you can only do an hour? Or?
Yeah, well, we got about 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yep.
Today.
Oh,
Yes.
man, well, that's not enough time to do much. That sucks.
It doesn't suck. Hey, we can pack a lot in 20 minutes. Trust me. I do it every
we got
Saturday
a lot.
and Sunday.
We got a lot in before you came on, Josh, too.
Yeah.
Chernobyl. My wife said Chernobyl. The animals in Chernobyl.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right, honey. I just handed her my
Nelly.
credit card. My life flashed before my eyes. Oh man. Oh god. I dropped her off here at Target with my credit card. Y'all pray for me.
You're a good husband.
Just kidding. She's not too bad. We do need a few things. We have a whole zoo at our house. So,
A bunch of animals.
Yeah, a bunch of little animals, and we got our bird. Tony got his bird today, so he's getting acquainted with our bird, and we think they're going to be friends. But you never know. Sometimes birds are weird. You know, sometimes they're just like, I don't like you, and that's all there's to it. Cockatiels have their own little personalities.
I hear Noodle's taking over your show.
Yeah, Noodles. He's taking the cryptid world by storm. Right, Anthony?
I've seen the memes. Those are pretty funny. You guys, y'all have a nice little family over there. I love it.
I like Noodles, but he I don't know what to think of him sometimes. You know, when we're joking around about him lifting weights and stuff, like the only way we got him to lift weights was to tell him, look, you're going to rack for us. And we made him go with us. And then he thought, if I'm going to sit up here and rack these weights, I might as well as lift myself. And so what he'll do too, after he's done with his workout, if he sees that we're still working out, he'll go and start doing extra stuff just to avoid having to help us. So that's how we got him to lift weights. So that he's that's what's happening with that. He's definitely. But
I gotta tell you, Josh, I talked to Jesus today. Jesus Payan Jr. He said that he was busy lifting. I guess he was bench pressing. He said he's getting close to 600 or something.
He's trying to get to.
He was joking around. Yes, well, he's going to try to come to the conference actually. So he's going to.
I hope he does. It'd be a great guy to be there to have there. Bless you. It'd be a great guy to have there.
Yeah.
I know that
he's coming. I think.
I hope so. He asked me what I benched, and I have a video. You know, there was all this trash talk going on until I put videos up of me on a speed bag, and then throwing up 660. Squatting. 480. People.
That's
crazy. And doing like 20 reps with 480. And people stopped stopped talking. Then all of a sudden, nobody wanted to fight anymore.
Nobody wants to make fun of you, huh?
Nah, they're not like telling me, "Hey, man, let's go," throw down. Because I kept telling people, "Come to Austin," and there's been several places here in Austin that I coached at, and I trained people. And I told them, I said, if you want to come to Austin and sign the waiver, and then we could put it on YouTube or whatever. And there were all these people that were all pumped about it until I put those videos out. And then all of a sudden, nobody wanted to play anymore.
Oh
You see,
I
Jessica,
would mess with you.
Jessica, most people don't realize that Josh is the size of a small house. So
that's what I've heard. I know. I would. Yeah. That's, you guys are I would not mess with any of y'all. That's why you're into Sasquatch research, I think. A lot of the guys that I go out, seriously, a lot of the guys that I go Bigfooting with are tall men, like big, stocky men.
Sure.
A lot of them, not, I don't know what the correlation is there, but.
Well, look at Ken. Ken's not tall. He's not big.
Yeah.
Him and Lyle are very svelte and small. They're not real big frame people.
It doesn't pertain to everybody, but just there's quite a few though. When I go to like Bigfoot conferences, I was just at the Georgia Bigfoot conference a couple of weeks ago. A lot of the people there are just really big people, like really tall, and it goes with the research for some reason. Yeah.
If you went back and you looked at the Boggy Creek, what do you call it? The Beast of Boggy Creek. Legend of Boggy Creek, yeah. Go back and check that out. Check out Lyle's book on that. Lyle, he's like me. He doesn't really claim it as a sighting because he's like me. Like I had something that looked similar to that, but I didn't get a full-on good look at it, so I don't claim it as like an experience or an encounter. My wife got a better look at it, and it was a reddish-brown beast looking creature, and we were out at this place called Row Lane. There's a subdivision they were building, and we were doing security, and me and my wife were out there one night, and the cattle were all pushed up into one corner of the fence, and I've seen this behavior before when there's a predator around. So I thought, what the heck is going on? And they wouldn't stop mooing, and there were some horses, and they had a donkey out there, and it was braying, and I was like, something's wrong, and so when we turned the truck around to go do our patrol, literally they built here in Austin's crazy. They're just building everywhere, like everywhere. If you got a square foot of land, they'll build a skyscraper, a 5x5 skyscraper, 50 stories tall, so they can, and I'm not joking. So these people are ridiculous how they're building everywhere. So it abutted right up against like a ranch, like a rancher that had, I think he had like 7 acres or something still. And so he had some cattle there. And she said, that's a Sasquatch. And when I turned and looked, she saw it dead on for a few seconds. And then the side profile said it had no tail, flat face, ape-looking type creature. I saw the back side of it. And because I really didn't get a good look at it, I don't really claim it as a sighting because, I don't even put those on my show. And somebody says, hey, I saw a Sasquatch on the side of the road, and you're like, I mean, you could, sometimes you'll find one that's pretty intriguing, but typically, that's not enough to like say, okay, I'm going to put that on the show because there's nothing really happens, unless it runs out in front of your vehicle and you hit it or you wreck and then it comes and messes with you, or, you go to a rest stop and it harasses you, or if maybe you drive right through it and it turns into smoke, which I've heard people talk about. But if it's just like on the side of the road, you're really not getting, like, there's not really much there. So I don't really claim that as a sighting. But Lyle, when he was doing the Boggy Creek investigation in the Falk area, he literally saw something. And when he started describing it to me, I told him, I was like, holy crap, I saw something very similar to that. But he was like me. He caught a glimpse of it. It was very tall and large. My wife said that this thing had squatted and bent over and was scurrying behind a tree when I saw what I saw. So that's why I only saw the back side of it. Now, I thought maybe it could have been a stray cow. Maybe one of the steers had veered off and was over there, but I didn't. You try to rationalize it, but you can't really claim it if you didn't really see it, So I don't really claim that no more than Lyle claims his. But if you're at the conference, you get a few minutes, ask him about what he saw out in Falk. Because the way that what he saw, it just kind of was very similar to what I saw, and it just kind of, it's but he's like me, he doesn't just claim anything you see is like, whatever.
Right.
You have to kind of have some grounding there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that they're actually going out looking for Bigfoot, they see something like that and it's absolutely Bigfoot. It's going to be Bigfoot. You see something
Mhm.
flying that's weird in the sky at night, it's got to be a UFO if you're looking for a UFO. And that's just not the way it is. And that's the way I am too, Josh. I don't claim, something ran up behind me. There was nothing there, but something hit my legs out from under me. I think it could potentially have been a cloaked Bigfoot. Absolutely. But can I say it was for sure? Absolutely not. you
Yeah.
know, it just can't. Now it's a cool story. It really happened, but do I know what it was for sure? No, I have no clue. And so I'm the first to admit that I don't know what it was. But yeah, it's stories like that. I hear that all too often though, of people seeing things out of the corner of their eyes. And could it potentially be Bigfoot? Absolutely.
Yeah, but is it a Bigfoot? We don't know.
We don't know.
So
That's right. Or a dog
yeah.
man or whatever. There's a long list of cryptids out there. And yeah, so people go to the conference out in Texas. So we have a potential cryptid near the property on site. We got this goat man, huh?
Mhm. Well, not real sure. There again, you got to ask Lyle because he's the guy that's his turf. Him and Nick Redfern
Okay.
live up in that area, and they were thrilled that we were going to do the conference in Fort Worth because Nick kind of jokingly said, "Oh, next year we'll do it in my backyard." And I'm like, and I told him, I said, "We're
Yeah.
going to do the Fort Worth because we were kind of joking, me and Ken." And so I told Josh Nanokio from What Lurks Beneath, he's going to be there too. By the way, he really had a blast last year, made a lot of connections, had fun. And he's like, "Are we going to do it again next year?" And he was kind of petitioning that we do it up in the Northwest. And I told him, I said, "There's so many Bigfoot conferences that go on up there, and that's kind of the Sasquatch territory, It's kind of leave it be."
Hmm. Yeah.
And so me and Nick, this Nick right here, Nick Valente, we talked about it, and we wanted to do it up in Elkhorn, up in Wisconsin, because we have a mutual dislike for someone that has really peed on in the
Uh-oh.
Cheerios.
Okay, let's not bring that up on Space Out Radio tonight.
So we were gonna,
Okay.
well, I
Please.
mean, we were
Out
gonna
of
do the
respect.
conference up there, and she,
Okay.
you know,
Well, hey, I think Texas is a perfect place to have a conference. I'm excited. I mean, I've never been to Fort Worth. I've been to Dallas and I've been to San Antonio. So this is going to be new for me. And I think a lot of people are super excited about it. It's almost kind of like in the middle of the country, so everybody can just kind of come from every direction. And it's going to be a great time, Josh. I cannot wait. Yeah, I talked to Ron Murphy last night, who's come in, and I can't wait. I've never met him before. I haven't met any of these people in person ever that are going to be there. So it'll be epic.
well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I mean, this conference, hopefully it goes off. I do hope I think Ken's going to do a tribute to Linda Godfrey, and I'm hoping
Okay.
that he does that. That's going to be that's something that we didn't get to have her last year because she was already ill, and and now she's deceased. But we hope that she'll be there in spirit. And so Ken really is we were both very close friends with her. So is Barton. So we're gonna definitely pay tribute to her, and this will be the second conference. And if I could have just one wish, that would have been it, to have her at the last one or at this one. And she had told me, and I believe her what she said. If she could have, she would have. But she got too ill, and she passed. But Chad Lewis was one of her best friends in this community. So is Barton, and they'll be there at the conference. And so, yeah, we're definitely looking forward to paying our respects to her.
Yeah, well, Linda was a good friend to Spaced Out Radio, and everybody misses her a lot. And I know she would love to be there. She'll be there in spirit for sure.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to be talking about the whole variety of the paranormal there? It's not just Dogman and not just Bigfoot, right, Josh?
Whatever people want to talk about. I mean, I know that Chad Lewis had talked to me about what he was going to talk about, and he asked me what I wanted to talk about because he's very versatile and he has like a lot of different subjects in his wheelhouse. And so he asked me what I thought he should do, and I think the Wendigo. He's the guy for Wendigo. There's another guy that thinks he's the Wendigo guy, but he's not. So Chad Lewis. So Chad Lewis. I'm trying not to say stuff about people. That's fine. Whatever.
Don't. Yeah, let's not.
I'll go do a live after this, and I'll talk some trash about some people. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna.
Just not here. Just not here. Okay. Okay.
That guy's out west, so we don't have to talk about him.
Yeah, we don't got to worry about that guy. But he claims that mantle, but that's not correct. Chad Lewis is the authority on the Wendigo. He has written books about it, and so I thought last year we had David Weatherly do the Skinwalker presentation, which I thought he knocked out of the park. And I'm hoping he'll do that again this year for those who didn't get to see it last year. But I'm going to have Chad do the Wendigo. And then Ron Moorhead, of course, the Sierra Sounds. That's what he's known for. And for those who are uninitiated and don't know about that, he's got to get that on there. And I'd like to see Nick, pull off your presentation you didn't get to pull off last year because there's only like 60 people left when you were there at the end. And so I felt kind of bad about that. You and Elijah kind of got the short end of the stick. Whereas this year it's going to be 2 days, not counting the Friday night for the VIP, and so I'm saying, we're probably going to be that first night. We're going to have to sign a lot of posters because there's going to be VIP there and they're going to want their posters signed. And so, I told them everybody gets a free poster with everybody's autograph on it. So we'll be signing some posters, but hopefully our hands will get too tired of signing because we're going to be doing a lot of signing in the 2 days.
Autographs? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Autographs. What
the especially if I got my book done by then, my books will I'll be having to sign those. That's why I was happy to not have to do the presentation, for my own presentation because I don't really need to.
You know what you do, Josh? Josh, on your drive up, you ought to sign your books.
Just sit. I talked about that with
sign
Ken,
them.
and Ken said it's so much better to just sign them because I've never had that.
Oh yeah.
I signed a lot of posters last year, but I was like, signing books. People are standing in line to buy your book. You want to chit chat with everybody a little bit. You don't have a lot of time. But I would like to make it a little more personal, and you can tell them, hey, what do I make it out to? But then I thought about it, what you just said, and I thought, why not just sign them, and then I can always add the personalization, later on if I needed to.
You sure can. Now, somebody's asked me this before, Josh. Is there any way to broadcast, get a virtual pass to the conference? Are you guys going to be broadcasting this online in any way?
No.
Okay.
No, and last year Daniel Jones made zip drives or whatever they're called for the, and he gave them to me, and he took my presentation and put it up on his channel, and I let him have that because of his work on the conference. Christopher Jordan will be doing our sound and all of our tech stuff this year. He's from Curious Realm. For those who don't know, he's got a pretty good show he does. He lives about 7-8 miles from me. We live in the same area. He lives in Cedar Park. I live off 620, and so he's going to do the sound. And we were going to talk about that. Maybe we were going to make copies of the presentations and then we could release them. But now we're not going to do any virtual broadcasting. And as of right now, I don't think that's going to happen. It's something we can look into. But I kind of I would feel kind of bad if I did a virtual broadcast and then, how do you do that? Because you kind of would have to charge people to do that because it'll circumvent them going to the conference. And then how do you do that? Because then you have to charge somebody.
A lot of conferences do it though. Just every conference that I've spoken at has done it just about. So there's ways to do it.
That's crazy because everyone I've been to hasn't. So,
really?
No, I haven't seen one yet. I didn't see it in Jefferson, Mineola, San Antonio conference. I haven't seen anybody do it, but I know people do it.
The Starseed conferences and the Secret Space Program kind of said they do it. So maybe the Cryptid conferences haven't done it yet. But hey, you are a groundbreaker, Josh. So it's if anybody were to start doing it, it'd be you. So. We'll see. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of people that would love to come that won't be able to go, but would gladly pay to see it online live. So,
do you think that's something that, it's something to think about, but I don't know if I'd feel good about making them pay just to watch it online.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just food for thought. Yeah.
I mean, we might have an animatronic werewolf there too. Christopher said he might be able to pull that off. That's going to be cool. Another person that's going to be at the conference this year that wasn't there last year is Christopher Gaetano. I talked to him earlier today, and Christopher is definitely somebody to keep an eye on because he had the Montauk Chronicles. He made that. And then he had the series on, I think it was on Amazon, or was it on Travel Channel? I think it was Travel Channel. I think Paramount Plus has it now, or somebody, but it was called Strange World, and it was a very good show. And he did some research on a topic here in Austin, and it caught my attention. And so I reached out to him, and him and Ann Celine just did a show together a few days ago. If you haven't had him on, you got to get him on and talk to him. He'd be a good guest for you for your show, Jessica.
Absolutely. I'm always looking for suggestions. All right. Well, we've come to the end of the hour, Josh and Nick. So, Josh and Nick, where can people get tickets to this again, and give us the dates on that?
Sure. It's going to be Labor Day weekend. It's going to be September 1st is going to be the VIP dinner and the signing and all that. And that's Friday night. Starts at 6 and it ends at 9. And then Saturday, and it's all day Saturday from 9 to 9. And then it's going to be Sunday from 10 to about 7. And so, yeah, we're planning on it's like 2.5, two, all together, whatever, 2 days, 2.5 days.
2 days. And I got the flyer right here. So you guys check this out. Yeah, go to Paranormal Roundtable on Facebook. They've got a Facebook group, and you can get all the information right there. So everybody, go join their group, Paranormal Roundtable. Check out Josh on YouTube at Paranormal Roundtable there. All of his shows. Josh, you have an amazing show. Nick, you're amazing, period. I just love having you on. And I cannot wait to see you guys in Fort Worth, Texas, out at the Dogman Cryptid Conference, Labor Day weekend. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Y'all rock. Both
Thanks,
of you.
Jess.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you guys soon, and I'm going to have y'all back on again before the conference, okay?
All
Thanks
right.
for joining us, Josh. Okay?
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care, Josh.
Okay.
Tell Nellie bye.
I'll see you.
All right. Bye. All right, Nick, thank you. I will see you shortly. Stick around if you want, and I'll talk to you after the show. Okay. All right. All right, y'all. That was awesome. Nick and Josh are amazing, and I have a lot of fun with those guys. So don't forget that right after this show is over, y'all go straight to After Hours. They're going to have an amazing 3 hours of a show for you guys tonight. Marquise, Danielle. And so next time on Off the Trails here at Spaced Out Radio, I have Jesus Payan Jr. coming on. We were just talking about him, and we're going to be talking about some of his amazing Bigfoot evidence. He has done a lot of boots on the ground research, and we have all sorts of pictures and some stuff from Thinker Thunker we're going to be bringing up tomorrow night. It's going to be amazing. So you guys be sure to join us tomorrow night, 10 p.m. I will see y'all there. Y'all have a great